Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike Pisani. This is November 27th. This is your daily recap and option flow update. Well, welcome back from the holiday weekend. I hope you guys all had a fabulous Thanksgiving. So today's action, honestly, it's not bad. Nothing really scary out there. In fact, the flow is overall very bullish. When we look at the markets, we can see pretty much the indexes did a whole lot of nothing today. The Qs opened up and are right back where they opened up at after going up and coming down. And the SPY did the same thing. And the down move today was on rumors that North Korea is getting ready to fire another missile. And honestly, I'm just not going to worry about that or care about that here. I mean, we've seen this before. Unless he does something very provocative, I'm not going to worry about that and get shaken out of my positions. You're going to ask me, Mike, why do you have Square up? Square is getting massacred today on volume, down 15% off of a nasty downgrade today. That said, a little while ago, about 3 hours ago, they came in and hit the Jan 46 calls with some size. And the other reason I have it up is this is a reason you don't want to ever be chasing these names when they're up this much. So when you see these names up and up like this, just let them go and let them come back in. So if you like Square, off the 21 day here is a place to start looking at this for a possible long. So I'm pointing this out as this is a place to come in. If you liked it and you didn't take part in here, now's the time to start taking a look at it, but either buy the common or buy time. You don't want to be going in. Personally, on a candle like this today, I'm inclined to wait till tomorrow to see how it reacts. It's big volume, over 50 million shares traded, and I'll wait. All right, so let's just talk about, I'll go around the sectors real quick, and then we'll come on to a bunch of individual names. So the XLE today, out of play again, another day down there. Oil is weak. I have no energy positions and still see no reason to play there. Biotech today, again, can't get above the 21 day. It's into it here. You kind of see it has a little inverted head and shoulders pattern developed here, but it's got to break through here, and it just can't find the catalyst yet that we're looking for to break this out. So let's talk about the financials. The financials today, a closing week, not exactly what I want to see. They moved up fast, and we had a lot of flow. You can see this morning they came in quickly and started hitting the 2650s, December 1st, 2650s, Jan 5th, 2650s, December 2650s. And those Decembers got big buying. By the way, guys, if you're live and you're watching me, if you chat to me, I can see it and I can interact with you guys as we go there. So I am long some of those December 2650s, and I'm a little red on it. I bought them here. And why am I long? Because they bought 31,000 of them today. So they came after this with a lot of size, and they've been dip buying into it throughout the afternoon too. So I'm going to give it a day or two, and if it doesn't start to go, I may roll it out into a January position on that one, just to give you an idea where my head is at with that. So again, nothing there yet. The one name they did come after in the financials, though, was Bank of America. Nonstop flow all day long. Look at that big engulfing candle, pulled all the way back. Just not ready here. We're seeing a lot of news about tax reform and stuff coming out. So just got to give it some time. They're not quite ready, but they still want the banks. They're waiting for them. They're kind of holding in here. JP Morgan, kind of an ugly reversal candle today there. Not loving that. Wells Fargo Chase has been the other name they really liked. Nothing there. And C, not much really going on here either today now on the lows. So we'll have to see how these all take off and play. So where were they playing today? They were playing in some of the semis that got hit. So AMD got smacked today. All the semis got smacked early. On big downgrade, sector downgrade. I think it was Morgan Stanley. Somebody there came out and just downgraded everybody in there. That said, they came for AMD, and they came for AMD big all morning. You can see, start off with Jan 12 calls right on, close to the open. They started hitting it over and over. January 13 calls. All right. You can see as my day. This is my private Twitter feed, guys. So if you guys don't know what's going on, this is what I'm posting to the people who might subscribe to me. If you're interested, you hit me up on Twitter. I'll give you a special promotion. AMD stuff. And then I got long common off of this block. The July 15 calls, 25,000 of them got bought up. So I like that a lot, and I went out and I grabbed it off of that because I think that, somebody's putting a lot of money there. Out of the money calls, there's a lot of buyout rumors on this name, and I do think at some point in time they do get bought out. So that's a long-term hold for me in the common, and I'm just going to sit on it here and see what happens. By the way, Met calls coming in. December 52 is about 82,000 of them are swept. Okay. dollars. So I like the AMD. Another name that was really good today, Micron. Right, that dip, they bought it and they've been buying it though with weeklies, and I'll show you what that looks like in the weeklies. The 50s, 15,000 of them now purchased today. So they've been very, very active in the Micron weekly. So this should be on your guys' radar for tomorrow. AMD, really nothing in NVIDIA yet, nothing in the other names. The only other name we saw a lot of action today in that similar space is WDC, Western Digital. This has been a chart I love. It got a wicked downgrade today on volume. They're trying to bounce it with some cheap ones here. I'm not taking it here. That's the one that's really beating everybody up in the sector. This chart looked great, looked poised to go. And that is an ugly, ugly gap on a downgrade. And guys, there's nothing you can do about it. When you have a pretty good looking chart and it gets hit like that, there's just nothing we can do about it, right? I mean, we're at the mercy of, we're at the mercy of these analysts when they do stuff like this. Why did I do this today? I don't know. Did it because they felt like it, right? So they popped it. It was getting ready. It was starting to break out of this long channel. It looked like it was going to run, and they came in and downgraded the hell out of it today. Who knows? What are you going to do? If you have time, you're okay. If not, you need to rethink what you want to do here at this point. It's an ugly, ugly bar. What else today looked good? Roku. I did not grab it. I almost grabbed common in this. I haven't traded the options on it yet. They started coming in here in this 42 area. 43 is where I would have grabbed it, some common. Look at what they're buying. Weekly 90. Help if I put that up for you guys. Look what they're buying into Roku here, right? Look at some of the names they're buying. Weekly 53s, weekly 52s, weekly 50s. So they're expecting this thing to go and break this high. Any dips on Roku, I would take a shot on that. That could be a nice little day trade for tomorrow as we move forward. What else did they play in today? Bib. Bib, they came after the January 340s and the December 335 calls. So somebody's saying we think this is going to wake up. I've been trying to play this one for a while. I grab it every once in a while. The 21-day remains big-time resistance, right? Sell, 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 sell. You see that red line here, right? Let me make it nice and big for you guys. So I am high on watching this one tomorrow now, because if it can clear this with any kind of volume, I think we have a chance to run it up. First the 50-day, then we get to this gap. See this gap we have here? We have the gap from right around 321 all the way up to about 328. That's a nice gap that this thing will fly through if it gets into it with any type of good move. So we'll keep an eye on that one. I like seeing some buyers coming into that name. Roku. Oh, Comcast. I know there's one more I want to talk about. I did trade Comcast today. Was not in it long. I made a couple pennies on it. I think I made 5 cents on my options. And why I'm not staying it, because they're in weeklies. Now, we got to see what this is going to look like when it's all said and done. Tomorrow morning, I'll be looking at this. 30,000 of these have traded today, the weekly 35 calls. You see the first ones came in here. Here, 4,500, and they just kept banging on it. Boom, 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 and just kept watching it. I want to see how many of these actually stuck and didn't trade out. I was in at 0.86. I got out at 0.92. You guys can see it's on here. Not a big trade for me, not much, but I wasn't going to let it on weeklies run red. And I don't usually like to hold weeklies overnight. So I basically just said, I'm not playing with this. I'm getting out and I'm done. That said, somebody's expecting something for that kind of size. So we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. So overall, guys, just I'm sitting here kind of going over this with you. Today, the markets just kind of were quiet. They digested the move of last week, which is a good thing. We like seeing the market digest moves. Nothing to fear here. We still stay with a bullish tilt to everything. We could use some rotation. I don't mind the markets doing nothing and seeing if we can get some rotation. Names that I've been long that I'm less long now, like Twitter, took the day off. Much needed break. It's approaching an area where I try to start buying some back when it tags the 8-day. Facebook, I didn't talk about. Facebook had some decent action today. How about that, guys? Facebook had some nice buying, right? You can see just nothing huge, but steady buying. Put a new all-time high in this morning, came off, but still holding in well. This one looks poised for another move higher, right at the top of the Bollinger Band. No volume in it these last 2 days, so we got to watch. Dips to the 8-day. To me, if this thing dipped to the 8-day, you should try to buy the first dip on the 8-day. Baidu is a name I'm also really like. I'm watching it to get back in this gap. I did not take it today. There was a little weekly call buying, but it remains on my radar. Look at how tight these Bollinger Bands are, the yellow dotted lines, right? Let's make this nice and big for you. All right, yellow dotted lines. Look how tight these are. This thing's getting ready to move when we see that, right? Tight setups. Netflix, another name. No call buying. I know a lot of people like Mike. It looks horrible. Mike is doing nothing. All those call buy. Remember those big, where are they? Those big December call spreads are still in it. They have not sold. You see them sitting in this here. That tells me to stay with it. I am still in some January calls. I'm down a little bit on it, but I have tons of time, so I'm not fretting it. I sold all my December calls for profit. Look at the Bollinger Bands, how tight this thing is getting. It's banging off the 50-day. Some people will tell you that's a bad sign. This stock loves to explode off the 50-day. So keep watching it, especially get tags of it. Watch it. They come in. Every time it hits it, it comes in and they buy it. You know, and what we do, we keep trying setups until they don't work, right? And so far, it's given us no reason not to do it. By the way, while we're sitting here, a little bit of deer coming in. Where are they buying a deer? December 148 calls. Swept about 420 of them. So it's a nice little flow coming in still throughout the day today. It's been a busy, busy day. You know, Apple's had some flow today, hasn't done anything. It looks bad. It's had very little flow, but it did bounce right off the 8-day. That's a good sign. We like to see that. Just not compelling, no volume, no movement, so I'm no longer long it. Tesla to me, just going to cover some of these names quickly for you guys as long as we're playing here. If you guys have anything you want to see, type it in the chat. I'll see it. We can look at it here real quick. Tesla to me, it's not a real compelling setup here yet. It's holding the 8-day, but it can't get above the 21-day. You see this tight, narrow channel here. It's good for scalps. You know, if you can get scalps on it, it's good for scalps long and short. It's playing both ways, but not compelling yet. Nothing to get me really excited into it yet. Even the volume is not really there right now into it. What else? We talked Facebook, we did Netflix. Google. Google had a beautiful move right off the 8-day again today. Look at this. Top of the new all-time high, broke above the Bollinger Band. See how it handles this tomorrow. You know, this thing is a beautiful little look to it right now. It may be trying to play catch up with Amazon as they give Amazon some time to cool off after this massive move, right? Out of the Bollinger Band, you have a shooting star type candle, although not as bad as it could be here, but it's down and it's closing on the weak side. It's run a lot. Look at this. Look at this move, right? Basically, we went from 11:30 to 12:13 in 4 sessions. And unfortunately, I only traded it one day and had a nice trade on it for one day, but that was it. You know, it is what it is. Can't catch them all, we don't. But this is a nice setup. BABA still has a nice setup. Here's your tip to the 21 days. Is it buyable? We'll have to see. You can see I have it bracketed here on what I'm looking at, right? Maybe buyable here. What else can we look at? Celgene, I've been keeping on my radar because it has a big gap here, but you can see holding the 8-day cannot get above the 21 days. So it's fighting a world of resistance. Look at the Bollinger Bands, another one. Look how tight these Bollinger Bands are now at. I have never seen them this tight on this name. This thing's getting ready for a big move. It's been beaten, and I'm looking bullish on it, and here's the reason why. I'm looking bullish on it. Hey, Robert, give me a sec. I'll pull it up. I'm looking on it because it's come down so much, and I like this long consolidation channel on it, and it's got a big gap to fill if it wants to get into it. IBM, Robert, you got it. Robert's asking for IBM here. IBM, it's tough. This gap should never have filled like it did if this was going to be any strong on its earnings gap. That said, it filled the gap, and it's bounced off of it, and it's consolidating here at this point. If the 8-day, see if the 8-day can push it. The 8-day gives it a push, and it can clear this 151, let's call it 152 area, Robert, with volume. I'd like to get in it and take it because I think it runs quickly to 154 area, you know, and then maybe even to the top of the Bollinger Band up here at 155. But it's got to take out this 152 with some volume here. You know, it's got to get above it and close. It's trying hard today. So I kind of like that. What else is coming in here? Some cop puts coming in. Joy, joy, joy. Top December 50 puts swept $222,000 of those. We're seeing some Momo January 35 calls, so the market's waking back up again. This is why I shoot this a little early, by the way. because things tend to pick up in the last half hour. Momo looks like about 275,000 of those came in. Jan 35 calls. GLW, December 8th, 3250 calls. Swept about $7,800. Small one there. Comcast is seeing some more action. Let's pull this back in here. So there's still something going on here. They're still trying to get this one to move. You can see it's coming back up. I'm not going to take it overnight, guys. Weekly 35, same ones. Looks like about 785 or more of them. And that's it. So guys, appreciate you guys who are in the service. If you're not in the service, hit me up, direct message on Options Mike, and I'll be happy to hook you up with something, get all the flow, get all the trades, get all the news, get the morning setups, the nightly recaps. We do a subscriber webinar every week on Thursdays at 6 o'clock as well. So I'd love to have you with me. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and I'll be back early in the morning to restart this process again. Have a good night, everybody.